He'd always been the strong one, the man who carried pain with grace, who smiled through storms and never let the world see him break. But when Sam Heughan sat down for a recent interview, something felt different. His voice wavered, his eyes glistened with something unspoken. Then, for the first time in years, he said words that left an entire fandom in stunned silence. "I've been pretending for years that everything's fine," he confessed softly. "But it's not." The room went still. The audience froze. Even the interviewer had no words. For nearly a decade, fans had seen Sam as the embodiment of strength, the charming Scottish actor who conquered Hollywood, built an empire of admirers, and became a symbol of resilience through Outlander. But that day, he wasn't Jamie Fraser, the fearless warrior. He was Sam, unguarded, fragile, heartbreakingly human. The conversation began as usual, questions about the show's final season, future projects, and his growing influence beyond acting. But when the topic shifted to fame and its pressures, something inside him cracked. He paused, looked down, and for a long moment, said nothing. Then came the truth. "People think success fixes everything," he began. "That when you're living your dream, you're happy all the time. But that's not how it works. There are days I feel completely empty, like I'm giving everything away, and there's nothing left for me." His words carried the quiet ache of someone who had spent years giving everything, to fans, to work, to impossible expectations, while silently losing pieces of himself. Within hours of the clip airing online, the internet erupted. #StayStrongSam trended worldwide. "How can the man who plays the strongest character on TV be falling apart?" one fan wrote. Others filled timelines with messages of love and support. "You've carried us through dark times," another posted. "Now it's our turn to carry you." Millions suddenly realized the actor they idolized might be fighting battles no one ever saw. Yet for longtime followers, this revelation wasn't entirely unexpected. Sam had hinted before about the emotional toll of fame, the loneliness of constant travel, the endless rumors. In one earlier interview, he had quietly said, "There's a cost to all of this. Sometimes you wake up and wonder who you are outside the character you play." Back then, it sounded poetic. Now, it sounded like a warning nobody heard. Sources close to him revealed that the past few months had been brutal, demanding schedules, sleepless nights, and relentless scrutiny. "People see the glamour," one insider said. "They don't see the exhaustion, the anxiety, the weight he carries." For years, Sam had held himself together for everyone else. But even the strongest foundations can crack. "I love my fans," he said in the interview. "They've given me everything, but sometimes it's hard when people think they know you. They see Jamie, not Sam. And sometimes, I don't even know who Sam is anymore." The pain in his voice was unmistakable. Not anger, not self-pity, but quiet sorrow. The kind that comes from years of trying to live up to an image that no one can sustain. The clip ended with him looking directly into the camera, his tone calm but heavy with truth. "I just want people to know that behind the smile, there's a human being too. Someone who gets tired, someone who hurts." It was a moment of rare, unfiltered honesty, the kind that strips away fame and leaves only truth. The reaction was immediate and overwhelming. Some fans admitted they cried watching it. Others confessed guilt for forgetting that even their heroes are human. "He made me see how much pressure we put on people to be perfect," one fan wrote. But his confession left one haunting question hanging in the air. What pain had he been hiding all these years? And why now? The interview went viral overnight. Millions of views, endless headlines, podcast debates. But while the world analyzed every word, Sam vanished from sight. No new posts, no public appearances, just silence. Not avoidance, recovery. For the first time in years, he was catching his breath. Behind the red carpets and press tours was a man quietly running on empty. The exhaustion, the scrutiny, the weight of being everyone's idea of perfection. Now, finally, he was allowing himself to stop. He doesn't want pity, a close friend shared. He just wants honesty. People see strength in him, but that strength has cost him dearly. That cost wasn't fame alone. It was the invisible toll of living under a spotlight. The rumors, The loss of privacy, the fear of never being enough. Over the years, Sam endured waves of online harassment and cruel speculation. He never lashed back, but each wound left its mark. Weeks later, he resurfaced with a quiet Instagram post, a misty Scottish landscape, the caption simple. Sometimes even the strongest people need to admit they're tired. That's how you heal, by telling the truth. The words hit differently. They weren't from an actor. They were from a man learning to breathe again. For years, fans had seen him as unshakable, kind, disciplined, endlessly strong. But now, that strength had a new face: honesty. I kept smiling because people expected me to, he said later. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. But the truth is, I'm human. I get lonely. I get scared. I struggle. Loneliness, that was the part that broke hearts. Because it was easy to picture a man adored by millions, yet sitting alone in a hotel room, scrolling through messages from strangers who loved him, and still feeling unseen. In that moment, Sam's confession became more than vulnerability, it became connection. By admitting he wasn't okay, he gave others permission to be real too. Fame, he showed, doesn't shield you from pain, it can isolate you from the people who understand it most. When the interview aired, Katrina Balfe, his longtime co-star and friend, reportedly reached out. "You've helped more people than you know," she told him. Just by being honest. She was right. Across social media, fans began sharing their own struggles, stories of burnout, depression, exhaustion, and found strength in each other's words. The comment sections became something unexpected, not just admiration, but solidarity. "If Sam can admit he's struggling," one fan wrote, "then maybe I can too." Slowly, the narrative shifted. What began as a confession of pain turned into a message of hope. Months later, in a follow-up interview, Sam reflected on it all. "That day, I wasn't trying to make a statement," he said, smiling faintly. "I just spoke from the heart. I didn't realize how many people needed to hear it." He spoke about learning to rest, to slow down, to let go of perfection. "It's a journey," he said. "But I'm grateful. My fans, my friends, they reminded me I don't have to carry it all alone." And maybe that's what made his confession so powerful. It wasn't a breakdown, it was a breakthrough. He showed that vulnerability isn't weakness. It's courage in its purest form. As the camera faded to black, you could almost picture him standing once again in the Highlands, wind in his hair, sky heavy with clouds, but a quiet smile on his face. The same man who once said, "I've been pretending everything's fine," now looked lighter, freer. Because for the first time in years, he didn't have to pretend anymore. "I'm learning to be okay with not being okay," he said softly. And maybe that's where real strength begins. And just like that, the world didn't just love Jamie Fraser anymore. They fell in love with Sam Heughan, the man who dared to be real.